Tampa, queen of the creek, built on faith and dreams. Yeah, the roots run deep, turning dirt to gold, watch the homestead gleam. Hard work, real life, this ain't just a theme. Up with the sun, I don't waste time. Boots in the mud, gotta hustle, gotta grind. Crafting and growing, yeah, make it shine. Turning little into plenty, watch me redefine.
Every stitch, every seed, every plan I lay ain't just a hobby, it's a whole new way.
Tampa, queen of the creek, built on faith and dreams. Yeah, the roots run deep, turning dirt to gold, watch the homestead gleam. Hard work, real life, this ain't just a theme. Storms rolling.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the channel. My name is Pam, and this is Tampa's Creek Homestead and more. Guys, please hit the like, subscribe, and share this video out to let everybody know that your girl is live. And for those of you all that's going to catch the replay, I hope you guys enjoy it. We have with us a special guest. And it's Miss Shirley, the OG gardener. Hey, Miss Shirley.
Good evening, Tampa. How are you?
Girl, I ain't got no complaints. Well,
thank you for inviting me on your live this evening.
I appreciate you taking time to come out. You know I do. So tell everybody about your channel.
Well, I'm Miss Shirley, OG gardener. I'm in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, Zone 6B. And I do a little bit of everything. I have been gardening literally all my life. As my grandmother used to say, knee high to a duck. But I do sew, I do crochet. I love to travel. I garden. I dabble in some crafts, some painting, and I love flowers. That's my big thing. I love flowers. Most of the flowers that I grow in my yard, they have a fragrance to it. I have a girlfriend who is blind, and she can describe every flower in my yard when it's in bloom. So I kind of created my garden around her keen sense of smell. So, yeah.
Okay. Hey, my Renaissance grandma. Hey, Happy Mac. How you doing? She said, looking beautiful. Yes, okay. That burden looked good on Miss Shirley. Guys, don't forget to smash the likes up button. We appreciate you. What you say, Miss Shirley?
I was just saying, I was just trying to tell Happy Mac, I was like, when you've been invited out to somebody's house, you always try to look halfway decent. You don't want to go in there. It's what my dad used to call a funk bum. You just don't go in there looking any other kind of way. Like you're a reflection of your parents, and you don't want to embarrass yourself. So, you put soap and water where it need to be, and, wash your face and come on out and show folks you can clean up a little bit.
Okay, well, you sure clean up good. Now, Miss Shirley, I know you can clean up, baby, because I done seen you sharp. you left no dust trail how sharp you was, baby. So I'm like, okay. Happy Mac said that's right. So let's get this party started. I don't know if you want to tell people your age.
No, I'm 70 plus.
Okay.
I put it to you like that. I'm getting up there. I do it like that. I figure you got at least some mystery to you. Can't tell everything. I don't want y'all to know more than what I know or the same thing I know. I got a little mystery somewhere in there,
Okay. So. Well, I know I ain't ashamed of my age, honey.
I'm not ashamed of it either. But
look, I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell you how much I weigh and everything.
Let me put it to you like this. I'm closer to 80 and further from 70. How about that?
Well, all right. But you look good, though.
Thank you. Well, you know what? They say if you don't take care of yourself, can't nobody else do it for you.
Right. Guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and share the live out. If y'all have any questions for Miss Shirley, put them in the chat, and I will pop them up on the screen so she can see them. Mm-hmm. So, back when you were growing up, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and the time that you grew up in?
Well, during the time I grew up, it was a heck of a lot different than what it is now.
Right.
When we grew up, we were the first house on the street to get a black and white TV. We used to listen to the radio, and we had everybody come over to the house and sit and watch the TV. It used to go off at 10 o'clock at night after the news, and then it would play the Star Spangled Banner. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
And that was it. There was no 99 different channels. It was 358 and what was it? 43 and 61. No, it was 3, 5, and 8 for the longest. And then 43 and 61 finally showed up. And then we ended up being the first family to get a colored TV set.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
we were like the innovators on the street. Like I was raised in my grandmother's house. So it was a 2-family house. And so it was grandma, granddad, and my aunt Eula Pearl, the old country folks. They from Georgia.
Okay, I got auntie named Pearl.
This is Eula Pearl.
Yeah, but hers is Pearl Ella.
Oh,
so you just flipped your Eula Pearl.
and
Yeah.
upstairs on the second floor was me, my mom, my cousins Butchie and Earl, and Rosemary, and my aunt Willa Mae.
Okay.
And she just recently passed at 96. So
Wow.
yeah.
She
So
lived a long time.
oh yeah. So we all stayed in the same house. Grandma was a housewife, and granddaddy, he did the work. Hey, Bayou.
What's up, Bayou? Happy Mac said, what was your favorite flower back then? Your
Roses.
favorite meal and your favorite movie back then?
All right. My favorite flower was roses because my grandmother had the most beautiful roses you ever wanted to see. And I got mad when my cousins finally destroyed them because they didn't want to take care of them after pretty much everybody died off. I wish I could have got a cutting from each one of them because they were there since I was a child. And my favorite meal was my grandmother's chicken and dumplings. Oh my goodness. Oh, I actually got a picture of my grandmother. I wish I could find it, where she was standing over one of them big pots, and she was squeezing the dumplings, actually dropping the dumplings inside the pot to cook when the chicken was already in there. My grandmother was a heck of a cook. My grandparents were sharecroppers. My grandfather didn't know how to read or write, and grandma did because she was the cook at the big house. So she cooked for the plantation owners. So and my mom hated, she said they had to pick cotton. She said she hated the South. She would never go back down South because she had to pick cotton, and she had to learn how to read and write once they came up north. So I came from a family that we had to teach each other. I had to be diligent in school because my household did not know how to read and write pretty much. So my dad didn't know how to read and write. And my mom, she had a certain level of education. So I had to be good in school. And then once my mom married a different gentleman who was quite well educated, he helped her a lot. And then I was able to get a little better education. That's why I learned how to surround myself with educated people. Yeah, and we could make a meal out of anything. My grandma, and see, back then, you didn't run to the supermarket for everything. You opened up the cabinets, and my grandmother would can, do a lot of hot water bath canning, a lot of food. My granddaddy built a whole kitchen in the basement because grandma didn't like messing up her kitchen upstairs. And I would ride with him to the hardware store, and he would get a couple of cases of mason jars. And the guy behind the counter, he would give me a sucker, and he knew who I was. And we would go back, and grandma, I would help her pick the peaches. They bought a grapevine, a peach tree, and an apple tree when they moved from down south up north and planted in the backyard. We never had a garage in the backyard because grandma always had her garden and the fruit trees back there. So when it came to the fall, she was doing string beans and corn, and she'd be making apple butter, and she'd be making what is that? Peach. Oh, peach mayonnaise. I can't think of the word. But anyway, she had peaches. Oh, brandy peaches. And she would put brandy in there. She had cloves in them. The spiked peaches, that's what it was. And she would have all kinds of stuff in the basement. We had a nice basement, and she turned it into a cellar. after all that cooking. So we very seldom went to the supermarket for veggies and stuff. Maybe for the meats, like she get that big old thick bacon and she would cook it so that rind was crispy, and it was almost like eating what is that, the pork rinds. You know, she would make those from the skin off of the bacon and make pork rinds with it. So my grandmother did everything from scratch, and you could smell them biscuits in the morning. And that old fashioned coffee pot that had the little percolator in it, it'd be so strong and it would take paint off a car, but it woke your butt up and you stayed woke. I guarantee you that if you drank that.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yes.
Miss Shirley, are you streaming out to your channel?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So how old was you when you actually started getting out into the garden? Like what
3.
age? You were 3?
3.
So can you remember the first veggies that you planted or the first veggies that you harvest?
A tomato. My grandmother, I would be sitting, I would try to walk through the garden and she's like, no, because you know, when you're 3, you don't know that you trampling on stuff. So she made me go sit in. She had a very small lawn park because she had a couple of chairs, like she liked to sit out there in the evening, drink her moonshine and look over her garden.
Oh, did she make her own moonshine?
Yeah.
I know back down in Mississippi, they made that moonshine. Uncle Bama said, how about sugar biscuits with butter?
Well, we made our homemade butter. We had the churn and we had to sit there and do that. When we had ice cream, we had to put the rock salt and the ice in there, and our arms and shoulders be killing us because we all be taking turns cranking that, trying to make the. When I said we made everything from scratch, we made everything from scratch. Okay.
Okay.
Grandma knew how to barter for fresh eggs. She, like I said, she just did everything from scratch, you know, and they would buy like a clump of salt. It was real salt. And she would, you know, pound it and break it up and use it. She didn't buy that Morton salt with the little girl in the
in the umbrella.
Yes.
I know.
And Granny didn't do that. She want real salt, you know. She want to bring out the flavor in the food because she used very little of it because it was just that good. So, yeah. So and she believed in organic medicine. When you got sick, you didn't stay sick long at grandma's house. She wasn't having those sick kids in her house because you know when one gets sick, all get sick.
Yeah.
And
hey, cousin Angela.
So she brought out the old remedies. We had the castor oil and the Father John and the 3 6s, and she would rub your chest with that Vicks. And it was something she used fat back for, and I can't remember what it was. But when we all caught the mumps, she had us rubbed down with sardines with the rabbit ears and stuff stinking to high heaven. Yeah, but it worked though.
Sardines, ain't there? Welcome in now to sardines.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so as opposed to what you did back in the day and how your grandmother made everything from scratch, do you practice some of the things that she taught you back then now in your lifetime?
Yeah.
Or you didn't got away from a lot of the stuff that y'all used to do?
I put it like this. I was really into doing everything like grandma did up until I got divorced.
Okay.
Because at that point, you know, I was brought up that a woman stayed home. She kept the house clean. She kept her kids together. She kept herself together. She always would have a hot meal ready for her husband when he got home. And I think that was one of the attraction that my husband had for me because I was like even though I lived in the city, I had a lot of Southern ways.
Okay.
And he didn't learn to appreciate it. So he had to go elsewhere. But,
I do understand. Let me shout out. Take a break 1 second, my Miss Shirley. Hold on 1 second. Shout out to these Bush people so they can come on out.
Queen of the creek. I see you watching. I
see you lurking, showing that love, yeah. I know you working, hands in the air, let's vibe, let's speak. Bush people rocking with the queen of the creek. Turn me up through the bass, yeah, the vibe so deep. From the chat to the fam, yeah, we all gon' eat. Every like, every share, yeah, I see that move. Ain't no fake, just real, yeah, we keep that groove. We don't fall, we don't fold, we just build and rise. Every stream, every dream, yeah, we touch that sky. Tampa queen set the tone, yeah, the love too strong. When the fam come together, we can't do no wrong. I see you watching, I see you lurking, showing that love, yeah. I know you working, hands in the air, let's vibe, let's speak. Bush people rocking with the queen of the creek.
Shout out to all you bush people. I know I see you back there dancing, Miss Shirley. Shout out to all the bush people that's in the bushes. Come on out, let us know that you're in here. Leave us a comment. And shout out to Odom Homestead, because Odom Homestead is responsible for all the music on Tampa's Live.
Okay.
Habit Max said that's her favorite right there, the bush people.
I see. I learned how to turn my comments on. It was on private chat, and I was like, "We're not on private chat. This is public."
Okay, what's up, Dave? What's up,
Hey,
Dave?
Dave. What's up, Dave?
Because hey, bush people, we are talking to the OG of gardening. Okay, so Miss Shirley, I do have some questions to ask you. Well, more questions.
Okay.
But number 2 says, what inspired you to start your journey in this field? Meaning garden, YouTube, just what inspired you to get online and start sharing your life?
Well, I've always had the love from gardening. I'm the second oldest grandchild and the first granddaughter. The oldest one is my cousin Earl. He was the first grandson. I'm the first granddaughter. So
Okay.
since I kind of grew up around it, it kind of got in my blood, because before there's other cousins that came along, they weren't interested in gardening. They like hanging out in the street with their friends, so they didn't hang around me. And I didn't have a lot of friends when I was little. So being in the garden made me feel like I had a purpose, because grandma showed me how to plant stuff. She showed me how to dig a hole, how to drop a fish head in it, cover that up, and add a little lime on it so that it would kill the smell. And she would put plants in there, and I would see the efforts, of my work. I would see my tomatoes grow. I would see my peppers grow, and I ate them, and they were delicious, and they were full of flavor. And we compared it to what we saw at the supermarket. And even in the supermarkets, unless there was a lot of booths that had the same veggie, you still didn't smell them. So we knew they were still commercialized. So that just let me know how different, because if you go out and eat and your stomach get upset and you try to figure out what did you eat that day to upset your stomach, then you learn where your veggies was coming from different restaurants and stuff. And then you go home and make that same identical dish, and it doesn't bother you because you got all the same veggies out of your garden and made that same dish. The only thing might be different is the protein, but for everything else, it came out of your garden. Why did this not make me sick? But when I ate it here, it made me sick. So kind of started putting 2 and 2 together and figuring out what was going on. So when I started sharing it with friends and family, they would ask me every year, what you growing this year? And my neighbors would ask me the same thing. And I was like, just wait and see. Just wait and see. So
Hey, David.
yeah, I did.
So growing up, I know you said y'all had gardening and all that type of stuff. Did you sew? Did y'all make y'all clothes?
Yeah. My grandmother showed us how to, excuse me, I'm trying to prop my leg up. It's starting to ache. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right. My grandmother would give us brown butcher bags or a brown paper bag, and we would get on the floor and she would draw a pattern, and we would cut it out, and we would get our, fabric and cut it out. and she had an old-fashioned singer because she was a heck of a seamstress. She actually used to work at White's sewing company here downtown eons ago.
Okay.
And it was the kind where you had to work the pedal on the bottom and hit the wheel and spin it and sew. And when I went to school in home economics, they was making aprons. I was making three-piece suits, you know, because
What?
that's the way I was brought up. Granny showed a lot of my clothes I wore in school. No one else could wear, where you get that at? I made that. And they'd be like, no, you didn't. So I was making my own clothes in school, and I was styling and profiling, and they couldn't understand where I was getting these clothes from. And the more I told them I made it, the more they didn't believe me. So I said it didn't make any difference because I never worried about seeing the same outfit on somebody else.
And that was that was good. That was. Do you still sew now?
Not like I used to. Occasionally, I'm at that particular time I was traveling so much I didn't have time to do that. I was always out of town. I didn't stay here. Even with my grandkids, I tell their moms, send them some nice clothes and pack them up, and I take them with me. I didn't go anywhere I couldn't take my kids or my grandkids. So that's how they got the traveling bug too. I think I got something here.
Hey, Flo.
Right now, I'm working on this blanket for my great grandbaby.
That's nice.
So when I'm sitting here and I get bored, I just start crocheting. So I still dabble in a little bit of everything, now and then.
Okay. Now that's one thing that I can kick myself today because my grandmother, she's a seamstress too. She's 93. She just turned 93. And her name is Ida Mae Happy Mac. She talking about, so we only had Ida Mae. And my grandmother always made her clothes if she didn't, want to buy something new. And every time she took out that sewing machine or got on that table and put that long board out to try to cut up patterns, I ran out the door. Yeah. So I was like, dang, I wish I had sat down and learned that particular skill. She did teach me how to cook. But when it comes to sewing, I'm trying to learn how to do that now. But it's, never too late to do something, to learn something.
Yeah, but you know what? Like I said, coming up in an old Southern home, they teach you to do a little bit of everything, because this is how they survived, and in essence, it helped me to survive.
Okay.
So it gave me the opportunity to work just about any kind of job because I had skills. And these were homemade skills, but they were the same skills that was in the street back in the day. They need seamstress and, and tailors and what have you. They needed gardeners, I did a lot of babysitting. So I knew how to change a diaper and make pharmacy. Back in that day, we didn't have Infamil and Similac, we had K-Roll syrup and pep milk and carnation milk and hot water. And that's how you made your formula and fed your kid, your baby, if you wasn't breastfeeding, or you could switch off either way. So if, somebody's watching your kid, they can make it. You didn't have to worry about going to the store and buying it. And we didn't have Pampers. We had cloth diapers and big safety pins for our babies, and they poop. You go and take that diaper in the bathroom and you dump it in the toilet, and then you put it in a solution of soapy water and bleach until you fill that bucket, and then you wash them all out. We didn't have no diaper service back,
Hey, Nikki. I remember my grandmother tried to get me to do the cloth diapers, and then she had the little plastic panties. I was like, I'm not about to do this, lady.
We called them waterproof pants. All right. So if they sit in your lap and they wet their diaper, they didn't pee through your suit or your dress if you was sitting them in your lap. Yeah.
Right. Nigga said, ew. I remember when I had my first kid, my grandma was like, we got to get the cloth diapers. And I'm looking at her like, what? Yes. Where they do that at?
Yeah, this is before Pampers and stuff came out. By the time Pampers and them came out, my son he wasn't in diapers anymore. Okay, so he's 55 years old. So just think about that. 55 years ago, Pampers was not out yet.
So can you imagine people have to do that today? A lot of young people
Yeah.
will go crazy.
Well, you know what though? That'll be less waste in the dump sites and fields and stuff because they're not disposable. They take a long time to degrade. So when you had the cloth diapers, you didn't have that issue. So
Yeah. But I couldn't do it. My grandmama tried to get me to do it. I looked at her like, nope. Like, what they doing that at?
yeah, you change your kid a lot more often, but you kept up with it. So you made sure you had a tube of zinc oxide in case they had a diaper rash or whatever, because boys' pee was stronger than girls. So that urine was strong. So you had to make sure they had plenty of water and change them often.
Hey, Catherine Jackson, welcome in. Happy Max said something they didn't have then, what they do now for cloth is disposable liners for the diapers. So nice.
Hey, Nettis, yes.
She said, I remember them cloth diapers and rubber drawers and safety pins for my brothers in the 1980s.
See, my son was born in the 70s. So, yeah.
Hey, my plum tree, welcome in.
Hello, hello, Catherine Jackson. How are you, darling?
He's in Africa. Nikki said, back then, women worked from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, we had the old-fashioned washing machine that had the wringer that washed in there. Then you had to put your clothes through the back and crank that wringer up to squeeze all the water and stuff out of it. Yeah, see, back then, I considered them pioneer women compared to what these kids is today. And see, you didn't have microwave to warm up your foods. You had to either warm it up on top of the stove or inside the stove. And as growing up, we had chores as children. And once that kitchen was clean, there was no more food passing through that kitchen anymore. You ate dinner, you got your snack. Mom always made sure we had a snack. And after that snack, that kitchen was clean. You better not go in there and mess up my mama's kitchen. Nah, yeah. Do that.
So when it came down to when you was growing up, I know my grandparents, because I lived with my grandmother a long time, that we had chores.
Oh, yeah.
So was it in your household back then? Was it a girl chore that girls only do certain things and the boys only do certain things? Or like my grandparents, they didn't care. You gonna get out here and do what I tell you got to do.
It was rough on me because my mom didn't have another child when my mom married my stepdad, I was 9 years old. So she didn't have a kid until maybe another year or so. So it's a 10-year gap between me and the next sibling. So I had to do everything. Wow. My mom had me washing dishes, ironing shirts. She says, if I got to cook and clean, you got to do this, that, and the third. And then she started having more kids after that. 4 more. Yeah, 4 more. I had said me, Edgar, Terry, Brian. Yeah. So I was like mom number 2.
Okay.
Because as she had more kids, the gap got bigger between siblings. So I got stuck with doing a lot of stuff until they got old enough to start helping out. They couldn't wash dishes. They couldn't even stand on a stool and help, They would be dropping and breaking dishes and glasses. So mom wasn't about to have all that happening. So I got stuck with a lot of stuff. So when I finally moved out on my own, it was funny to me to see some of these young girls who didn't know how to do anything, because I knew how to change diapers, make formula, cook a dinner, clean a house. They didn't know how to do any of this. And this before all this easy takeout stuff was coming. They was just lazy. And in some cases, their parents, it's like children raising children. And they just couldn't do a lot of that stuff. So when I went into somebody's house and I was like, well, dad, I be looking around and they be looking at me like, I be looking at my house. And I be like, I can write my name on your coffee table. I'll be like, no, see, that's just laziness. That's just being nasty. I said, you ain't had to worry about me coming back. But
So Nikki said, "What's your first job? What was your first job?"
ooh, that's a good question. Nikki, you talking about 50, 60 years ago.
I remember my first job.
um, I guess babysitting. My mom didn't. Oh, I was a waitress. I take that back. I
Okay.
was, I was waitress in Higbee's downtown on Thursday nights. They had a smorgasbord, and I was a wait. I was in high school, and I was a waitress. That's the first real job I had. I've always babysat and made money, but that was the first one where I actually got a W-2 from. And
Okay.
I was good at what I did as a waitress, and I made good tips. I kind of hate to give up that job. I was able to get a phone for the house. We didn't have a phone at the house, and so with a house full of kids, you need a phone. So since I was working and I had the extra money, I put a phone in the house so that we would have one. So
Well,
yeah,
that one wasn't that nice. Miss Shirley was the responsible teenager.
yeah. But I always babysat because I had siblings, and when other folks saw how well I took care of my siblings, they would ask my mom. My aunt would go, and she wanted me to come to her house and watch my cousins and stuff while her and her husband went out. So I did a lot of babysitting up until I was old enough to get a job, and I didn't get an actual license to work until I was 16, because up to that point you really didn't need one. They didn't implement them until what they call child labor laws came in, because when we was doing all kinds of jobs and stuff, and they wasn't charging taxes and what have you. But by the time I turned 16, I had to get a W-2 setup job. So it was not, and I loved that job because working there at Hallie's, it was a big, I guess it was considered an expensive store, just like Neiman Marcus or something else before they went out of business. And they had good quality material and dresses. And since I was petite, I was a perfect size 6 at that time. Oh,
Oh, sure can
I
tell you was bad with your
yeah,
bad self.
yeah. They love to see me coming because they be like, we got this new outfit. We know you're just gonna look fabulous on it. And see, yeah, back in the day then, when you used to go out and party, you didn't wear the same outfit twice. You had a new outfit every weekend, Friday and Saturday, please. You had to be dressed to the nines. I'm talking about from underwear to lipstick to makeup to hair pieces. See, back in the day, you dressed for everything. It wasn't about no sneakers and blue jeans and tank tops and stuff. You wore evening gowns, you wore hair pieces or wigs or you dressed. I mean, high heels. You be dancing all night in heels. If you didn't want to, you kicked them heels off and you kept right on partying. And when you wanted to get sexy, you had your fishnet stockings or your stockings with the seam in the back. You know, you had different outfits for different affairs.
Oh, no wonder they call you OG.
So
Miss Shirley.
yeah.
Did your grandmama make y'all wear slips?
Oh yeah, and I still wear them. I had one on yesterday. I can't go without a slip. It feels too breezy and airy. I, and see, I had on a heavy skirt that had a nice lining in it. I mean, a real good tailored skirt with a lining in it, but I still felt naked under there. And when I put the slip on, I was fine. So we
Okay.
grew up in the era where you had to wear a slip. You didn't wear nothing see-through. You had some see-through on, they tell you to march your law, have you behind back in the house and get your slip and put it on, or tie your jacket or skirt around your waist. They don't want to see through your skirt.
Yep.
Or dress or whatever you had on. No,
My grandmama made me do it too. Wear slips and half slips and
yeah,
whole slips. I had both of them,
yeah.
and
I
then
had the whole one with the bra. Yeah, that.
yeah.
And you know what too? And if you had on a see-through blouse, you had to put a camisole underneath it. You couldn't just wear your bra up underneath that. You had to cover all of that. So back in those days, the morality of people was a lot different than now. You had to be a lady back in those days. and you want it to be. And I found out that when you're covered up, people think you're sexier than ones that got it all out. So I was never that type of woman. My clothes was form fitting and they fit in the right spots in the right way. And I was standing next to a woman who had on a mini skirt and a real low cut blouse. And a gentleman came up to us and he said, she has class. She's cute, but she has class. And he was talking about me. He says, you don't have to put it all out there. He said,
No, you don't.
men said they don't need a billboard. They can see through what you have on, what you built, and how you look. You don't have to advertise it like that. And
No,
I
you
said,
don't.
to me, in a lot of cases, that's most women who had low self-esteem and just wanted to be the center of attraction that they do all that, because I've gotten more compliments with being fully dressed than some of these girls who be out here half naked. And it passed down to my granddaughter. When she graduated from school, she was the classiest girl in the class, and the rest of them had all of this hanging out and this and that and the other, and they looked like they was on the stroll.
Wow. Hey, Jess Daniela, how you doing? Welcome in, sis.
So,
She said, okay, size 6. And Nutter said, just classy, just
yeah,
classy.
yeah. So
Fishnet come through.
yeah.
But you know what? When you say something to the younger generation, when they showing everything, they gets real offensive.
And you
When
know
you
what?
sit there,
I don't care. And you know why? Because the ones who aren't sure about themselves, if you notice, if somebody's staring at them, especially an older person, they start pulling and tugging. All right. That skirt's not going to get any longer just because you're trying to pull it and stretch it down because you feel embarrassed.
right.
Don't be trying to pull all this up to cover all of this when you got it all hanging out. It's not enough material to cover all that you got out there floating. Okay. So,
Mhm.
just because you with your man and he like you looking like this, you need to tell your man that you feel uncomfortable dressing like that. Now at home, that might be fine, but out in the streets, yeah, you got all the attention in the world, and it's not always good attention.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's not.
And so, if your man get an attitude, that's on him. But you can tell your man, I feel uncomfortable. I would like to put on something that covers a little bit more.
Yeah.
I wear this at home for you in the privacy of our own home, but I don't want to be out here in the streets looking like this. So, you know,
And
they
if
can
he let you go out looking like that, he don't respect you. He don't respect himself.
no, 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 no. Yeah.
Nope.
So, mhm,
Danielle said undergarments are a vital piece of wardrobe. I
yeah.
was raised by my grandmother, so I know for real.
Oh,
And
and I
listen,
forgot to tell you about back in the day too. We wore girdles, and them girdles was tight. Them
right.
girdles was tight. They held you in. I guarantee you. They held you in. And we had long johns in the wintertime. We
Oh,
couldn't
I got them too.
no, no. But see, back in the day, we weren't allowed to wear pants in school. You weren't allowed to wear pants. You had to wear a skirt or a jumper. So if you wore pants to school in the wintertime to keep your legs warm, once you got to school, you had to take them pants off. You had to be a young lady. You couldn't wear pants all day. You had to wear skirts and jumpers. So that's the big difference too. And you couldn't wear stockings either. Stockings was a no-no. You could wear tights, leotards, but you could not wear stockings. That even in high school, if you came to school with stockings on, they call your mama and send your butt home. Talking about no, she can't wear no stockings here. Some tights, the leotards, but she can't wear stockings. So once we left high school, all the rules started changing on the dress code. So I went through what half of y'all, and I can say that judging by the ages of most of y'all, that y'all didn't have to go through. Okay, y'all came after most of these changes was made, so y'all got a lot more freedom than what we had going to school.
Yeah, when I went to school, I only wear stockings when we had something dressed up to do. or my grandmother, we going to church. That's the only time I wear stockings. But just to be wearing them because I want to go out the house with them on, nah. Nah. Most time I'm with some pants on or some shorts.
Yeah.
Nikki said, how did you meet your spouse?
That's funny. She should ask. That made me think of another job. We had a program at school at that time called SNIKE. I forgot what it stood for, but anyway, I was a candy striper at a VA hospital during the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And one of my patients was a black guy that I became cool with. He was there going through drug withdrawal. And I would go in there and read or write letters for him. And his brother would come to visit. And I fell in love with his brother. And we ended up kicking it for about 3 years. And then after that, we got married. So, yeah, that's how I met him.
You still married now?
He's deceased now.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Do you ever see yourself getting married again?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole, it's a whole different creatures out here now.
What you say? I've been singing since 2020. What you say? I ain't looking.
I have male friends, and we go out to dinner occasionally. Go shopping, like Tractor Supply and stuff. They like that I'm into gardening tools and stuff. But other than that, nah. I like the quiet and solitude of my house.
What you said.
If I don't want to get up and I'm retired now. If I don't want to get up and get dressed, I don't have to. If I don't feel like washing my behind today, I don't have to. If I don't want to cook today, I don't have to. I do what I want to do whenever I want to do it. And I don't have a problem with it. I learned a long time ago through our Bible studies. Jehovah has taught me the difference between being alone and being lonely. That's why he's our Father. And I take that seriously.
Let me take a hot break right quick, and we're going to read Netta's shout out to my moms. Nikki, while I'm playing this, can you drop Miss Shirley's channel for me?
Creekside mods, they run the show, keeping it fresh, always in control. They bring the heat, the chat's on fire, lifting us up, taking us higher. They keep it moving, always on point. Every live stream, they light the joint, dropping those links with style and grace. Creekside mods, always setting the pace. Ooh, they bring that good vibe. Ooh, always keeping it live. They keep the flow smooth, always clean. Creekside mods, the real MVPs. Creekside mods, they run the show, keeping it fresh, always in control. They bring the heat, the chat's on fire, lifting us up, taking us higher. Shout out to the crew, always on the grind.
Shout out to my Creekside crew, Creekside mods. You guys rock. You are awesome. Let's get some more people came in. Hey, Jags, welcome in.
Hey.
Don't Harvest, welcome in. Sylvia, welcome in. Laura, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? That's my art. Says say that again for the children in the back. In the back. Catherine said, my husband told me years ago that men have a vivid enough imagination. They take it and run with it, even when you dress modest. So when you dress provocatively, you may as well be naked.
Yeah.
What's up, Jamaica? How you doing? We got the OG up on the stage looking all nice with that burgundy on, with their lips popping. I was like, is that Miss Shirley in the background?
You know what? I didn't know what to put on. I call these my hats. And when I was going through them, I was like, which hat I'm going to put on tonight? I'm going to shock y'all guys one time with this one hat I got that I don't wear too often. But
well, say that for tea time.
Yeah. So
Yeah, come on up there with tea time with that on.
no, with tea time, I got to put a hat on. I don't want to put a hat on top of it.
Oh, you calling your hair a hat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You sound like my mom. My mama got her hat. She got server
Yeah. I'd
hat.
be like, if I got a hat and a hat on, I got on two hats, you know. So,
Okay, okay. She said, be a cook in the kitchen, a lady in the streets, can't show your teeth to every man you meet.
yeah.
Okay, okay. Danielle said, this is a lot of wisdom in this here conversation. Yes, ma'am. And that's why I wanted her up here
Thank you.
because
Thank
no
you.
matter what people going through, how they going through, my older generation is gonna drop some wisdom, and guys, it's up to you if you gonna listen. I like listening to my grandmama. She's 93 years old, and baby, she'll tell you like it is.
Yeah.
She don't care if it hurts your feelings. So Miss Shirley kind of remind me of my grandma, her and my Renaissance grandma. But
Yeah.
I finally got her up here.
Yeah. And you know what? Since you said that, Tampa, not this last weekend when I was with my granddaughter a while back before I had my surgery, my granddaughter took me to the hospital for my surgery. She stayed the whole time I was there. The elders from my hall came and they prayed over me before I went into surgery. And she stayed the whole time and she stayed until I came back out in recovery. She's more like a daughter than a granddaughter to me.
Okay.
And I got her mom gave her up at birth.
Oh,
And I had her for the first 8 years, and then her mom came back and got her.
okay.
So we are quite close. And so we can sit down and talk about anything. And I do mean anything. And I want her to embrace a lot of things that I had gone through and hadn't gone through, and to keep from her having to go through them. You
Mhm.
know, when I see her going a certain way, I'd be like, let me talk to you for a minute. Or I was like, I need to tell you something just to give her an idea of what's going on. Because even though she's young, she still hasn't experienced everything I have. She may never experience what I've gone through, but I just want to let her know that there's all kinds of possibilities that can happen in life. And I don't want you to ever feel that you can't come to me about what's ever happening. And she has come to me and told me a lot of things, and that'll stay between me and her for as long as we both shall live, you know.
Okay.
But I don't want her to ever feel that she doesn't have somewhere to go to talk, you know, because you got a lot of people out here who go through anxiety and depression and they feel like they have no hope and they don't have anybody to really talk to or feel comfortable in telling stuff. You know, like all of us got secrets of some kind. Some
Right.
we keep to ourselves, some we might share with someone else. But there's always those deep down secrets that you might keep to yourself that no one knows but you and God. Okay. So I want her to feel like she never has a place that she doesn't have anyone that she can't talk to. You always have me. And then she started going to my doctor's appointments with me and started learning about the health history of my family. Because, oh, that's what I wanted to bring up. Coming up, they did not talk about growing up. They didn't talk about tell you about becoming a young woman. They didn't talk to you about when you started growing breasts,
Mhm.
having acne, or whatever in our time period, because a lot of them didn't know
Okay.
or had somebody to talk to. Okay. And a lot of the grandmothers and aunts back in that day, they didn't talk about certain things to you. They felt like it was taboo. So if you didn't learn about it in school or hear from someone else, you didn't know about a lot of stuff. I learned a lot of stuff from my home economics class because the grown-ups didn't talk about stuff like that. So these kids don't know. They have sex education classes. they got aunts and moms now that will tell them about life. Whereas I didn't come up like that. I had to hear from other people on a humble when stuff started happening to me. And I was like, what's wrong with my body? How come this and that and the other? And they like, oh, we don't talk about stuff like that. That wasn't helping me at all.
Right.
So these kids just don't know how good they have it now compared to how it was when I first grew up. And some of these young ladies still don't know about hygiene, you
No.
know, and just how to be a young lady. Some of them, you know, like right now, my great grandbaby's only 18 months old, and when she sits down, we make her pull her dress down to her knees and keep her legs closed. The younger you teach them, the more it sticks with them, and the more they become conscious when you're not around.
That's true. That's true. But sometimes you can teach them that and they still go left.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
it's not like you didn't put forth the effort to show them to do it the right way.
Yeah. Because I have to get, like, when Mackenzie wears a dress or a skirt or something like that, even shorts, like, depends on what kind of shorts she has on. She don't have any of those hoochie coochie shorts and nothing like that, but it
Right.
just depends. When you have shorts on, sometimes when you sit down, it kind of rises up.
Oh, it's
So
gonna rise.
yeah, so I have to remind her, you are a young lady.
Yeah.
Cross your legs.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you teach them when they're younger,
And
sometimes it sticks.
I did that with my granddaughter. She was spending the weekend. She spent a lot of weekends with me. And we were going shopping and she came out with these shorts and stuff on us like, where you going? And she said, I'm going with you. I said, not dressed like that. I said, go in there and find something else to put on. And she was like, well, Graham, this is where I wear when I'm with my mama. You ain't with your mama.
Right.
You with me.
Right.
And as a young lady, you need to go back in there and change some shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't have another pair of shorts. Well, guess what? I got a drawer full of clothes in there for you. Go in there and pick out a pair. She went in there and found a pair of shorts and came back out and said, that's how you dress when you with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
My daughter tells me, because of how Mackenzie dressed, she dressed like she's 11 now.
Yeah.
But she's still a little girl. She's not a teenager.
Oh, yeah, she's tall.
She's not as tall as me.
Yeah.
But the way that I dressed her, she's not wearing tight fitting clothes.
Yeah. I love the little dresses she has on. They're cute.
She's a little cute. She looks like a little kid. And my youngest child, you dress that girl like she old. I said, you could call it what you want.
Yep.
She's gonna dress like a young child until she gets a little older, and then she will dress according. She's not gonna be revealing none of that stuff because it ain't cute. When you show too much, you showing, you just drawing the wrong attention.
Exactly. And there's too many predators and crazy folks out here nowadays. And when they look at your granddaughter, they like, okay, maybe I could lure her with this, that, and the third. So you have to really watch your kids and make sure that when they're not around you, that they have some type of mind of their own in regards to this is not right, this doesn't feel right, I'm uncomfortable. And you always want them to feel uncomfortable to a certain degree. And that way, that sometimes that helps them to be safe if they're feeling uncomfortable, because they like, no. So, yeah. So that's what I'm working on my great grandbaby now. When they let me watch her and we're sitting together, we do things, you know, and I'm trying to teach her, because they're like sponges when they're at this age. They suck up everything. And they question once they get older and they see somebody else do it, they'll say, no, my Nana doesn't do that. She said that's wrong, you know. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to hear when they let another adult or another child know that, you know, that's wrong, you know. And don't do it around me. Don't get me in trouble, you know, because you want to cut up and act a fool. So that's what I try to impress on my great grandbaby, because I did it with the grandbaby. And she used to stand behind me in the store No, she was standing in front of me.
ACC and F. Smith. Sorry,
That's
Miss
all
Shirley.
right.
Okay, what you say? I was just speaking, and I didn't want them to think I didn't see them. Okay,
Yeah.
what you were saying?
We were in a supermarket once, and she was in front of the cart looking back at me, and she had this frown on her face. And I was like, "What's wrong with you?" She said. She leaned over. She said, "That man looking at your butt." I had on a pair of workout pants, and I was like, "As long as he don't touch me, it's okay." And she said, "I don't like him looking at your butt." I was like, "Turn around so you're not looking at him looking at me, okay? But as long
Right,
as he don't touch me, he's okay." Because you can't
right,
stop people from looking, but you can't just stand there and stare like that. So it was funny, but it's like, yeah.
yeah. Nikki said, "What is the most important historical event you lived through, and how did it impact you?"
Ooh, that's a good one. Nikki, where you get these questions from?
You know, Nikki B on it. She got these questions because I talked to her today, and I said, "Nikki, if you got some time, ask Miss Shirley some questions." So, but these are things that we want to hear, especially when you got people that don't have their grandparents around and they can't ask them these type of questions. So when I find people that live back then and still got their memory, we want to know, Miss Shirley. So come on, answer that question.
What is the most historical event you lived through?
Hey, cousin.
Wow, that's really hard, Nikki, because it's a couple of them actually. Um, I lived through the riots in the Glenville riots. It made history. And at the time, I had left my mom's home and moved into my dad's apartment. And they were rioting. I mean, really rioting. They was flipping over cars, throwing Molotov cocktails. And we kept hearing this little psh, psh. And I peeped out of the balcony and looked up, and there was a sniper up on top of the apartment building we were living in, shooting at police. And they finally figured out where he was at and took him out.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one instant. Another one was I was a little rebel between the ages of 25 and 30. I rode all the way to West Virginia on a Harley Davis to see Pink Floyd in concert with about 4,000 hippies.
Wow. Hey, PIA.
And I got third-degree sunburn on my back because the sun was beaming on. I had on a halter top, and my back was.
Oh, so you was just out there then. Back out and everything. Okay, Miss Shirley, I see you.
I had on bell bottoms and a halter top.
So the times that you used to, the way that you used to dress back then, which we know was bell bottoms, those type of hot halter tops, fishnet,
back shoes, yeah, all of that. Yeah.
So is that some way that you dress now? Somehow that you dress like that now? Do you have some of those things that you still are fond of?
No, my granddaughter has gone through my trunk, and she has commandeered quite a few of the stuff I had in there. So I told her I'm getting too old for that. I was like, nah, I'm not rocking that kind of stuff anymore. Go ahead and take it. That's more your age. And she did that. See, she's 35 now. She was doing that at 20, 25. She said she found that trunk in that back room, and she said, "What's in here?" And don't leave my granddaughter home by herself. She would go through every closet I got in there because I don't dress like a grandma, and she loves going through my clothes. So she went through that trunk. She said, "Gran, I've had some of that stuff since high school, never got rid of it." And she just rambled through it. She took all the outfits. I'll put it like this. I'm not even going to name them, but she took all the outfits.
Well, I dress like a grandma. My daughter keep on saying, "You need to let me dress you, girl. I don't want to wear all that stuff y'all wearing." I have never been that type of person when I was growing up to always want to reveal stuff. My daughters never reveal everything. Nigga said, "What's your biggest regret?"
And I was just reading Happy Maggie when she said she Pink Floyd. Yeah. And she had a whole new respect for me. Oh yeah. I used to let me tell you, sweetie, I got some autographs from some of the biggest bands that used to be out here that used to pass through because I had friends who had connections and I partied with the best of them. Believe me, I've rocked and partied with the best of them. I've traveled from one end, from California to New York to Flint, Michigan, to Atlanta, Georgia. And I tell you, and then that's before I started going outside the country, like Jamaica and Dominican Republic and Mexico and all these other little places. So believe me, I've run into some awesome people. Yeah.
I got a question. You see Nikki's going across the string, right?
Yeah. What some of the biggest changes you've seen in history?
So before you answer that one, I had meant to ask my grandmother. I don't know if you've seen the interview that I did with my grandmother live when I did that.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Sorry.
So I interviewed her, but I didn't get a chance to ask her. You know how we as women, we have convenience when it comes to our cycles and stuff with the pads and all the tampons. Yeah. What did y'all use back then? Did y'all have to make y'all own or?
No, we had them things that looked like diapers. They were this long and they had tabs on the back of them and you had to wear a belt and you had to slide the front through the belt and hook it and slide it in the back and hook it. Yeah, to keep it close to your body. Yeah. It was like wearing a diaper.
That's not something that you made, right?
No, you bought them like that. It was like you would get a big bag. You ever see the big bags they have like for the Depends? You got a big bag.
I can see those.
That's how big those pads were. They were pads. They'd be like this thick. Oh yeah. Because they didn't have the lining. It wasn't no waterproof lining in there. You had to keep up with that on your own.
Wow.
So if you had heavy flows, you was in bad shape, boy. You had to yeah.
Ooh, I'm so glad times have changed. Miss Shirley, there you go. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen in society?
That they finally recognize domestic violence on women. Because my mom caught the blues.
Wow.
I caught the blues for a minute and I told him, I said, somebody's gonna die tonight. It's either gonna be me or you. And I looked at him and I said, and I'm walking out of here. So at that point, we went our separate ways because he found out I wasn't playing. I said, I seen my stepdad beat my mom, and I was like, I'll never have a man beat me. I was like, I will go down fighting to my death before I let a man beat me like I saw my stepdad beat my mom. So it back in the day, up until I say within the last 4 years, women was considered property and not a human being to their husbands. If you had a man that believed in domestic violence, the police never intervened because they consider you that you were his wife. It was okay that he beat his wife. That was his property.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they viewed women back in the day. I mean, just like policemen get away with beating their wives. That was his wife. He had the right to beat her, but if he felt like he needed to.
Oh no, baby.
Yeah, so that was the biggest change, is watching them with human trafficking, babies. They improved on checking in on pedophiles and domestic violence, because all of that was rampant up until really the last 4 years.
Wow. So back then was the growing up, was your community more involved in everybody, like y'all had community as opposed to what we have now? Because when I grew up, we had community.
Now we had a community. Everybody knew everybody on the street. And we had the kind of community that if you got caught doing something at the end of the street, the neighbor could beat your butt all the way back up to your house. And then when you got to the house, grandma would beat your butt. And then when granddaddy came home, he would beat your butt. And when your mama got home, she would beat your butt. We had that kind of community. They didn't play that. You knew everybody and everybody knew who you were. Oh, you Alberta's child. Okay. Or you Doc's child, grandbaby, whatever. Everybody knew who you were. Everybody on the street. You can go to each other's house. We didn't lock doors. You can leave your windows open all night. You can have your friend crawl in your window into your bedroom and crawl into bed with you, and it wasn't no problem. I could go next door to Miss Rubin's house and I say I'm hungry. She fixed me something and I could sit at the table. When we grew up, you didn't worry about locking your windows and your car doors and your house and all that stuff. You didn't have that problem. It didn't happen until maybe in the late 60s, early 70s, where you had to start locking up everything. And at that point, you didn't have to really put out cameras and stuff at that point. It hadn't gotten quite that bad. I guess it was according to the neighborhood you lived in, but we always stayed in halfway decent neighborhoods. So, but yeah, I've seen the evolution of man, okay, to say the least, from going from the only person who had beepers were the doctors, and then they the only ones had phones, and then you had them big old phones and the flip phones and the phone on the kitchen wall that had a cord that went 1,000 feet, So I've actually seen the evolution of man. I actually had the sofa in the living room that had the plastic on it, and you wasn't allowed in my living room unless it was fancy company.
So people get stuck to your plastic, huh? Oh
I
wow!
put a sheet over there for you in the summertime, so it wouldn't. If you had shorts on, it wouldn't stick to your legs. So yeah.
Nikki said, "What advice would you give young people to prepare for old age?"
Don't try to spend every dime you make as a young person. Put something away. Have it, as they say, have a umbrella for you to be under. Don't be broke. Because I tell you, I'm broke as crap. I
You and
am.
me both.
By, by the grace of God, I make ends meet. I keep a roof over my head, and I know how to make a buffalo crap on a nickel. Because my little extra pension ran out. So when my Social Security kicked in and I hustle on the side, I've been in this house here for 24 years. That's how blessed I've been. And my blessings come from helping others. I learned a long time ago, when you're not selfish and you're willing to give the last of whatever you have, it always comes back to you tenfold. I have never missed anything. It's been times things got lean. It's because I overdid my budget for that month. So I've learned, to have a little, yeah, you need a little nest egg, as they call it. You do, so
Um, what is the most important thing you learned in life?
just be me.
Okay.
Just, not to be anybody else. Just be me. It's a lot of work when you try to be something you're not. It is. That's a lot. That's a lot of energy. When you can
Miss
just be
Shirley, Nikki said you was out there with that halter top and them bell bottoms. It is a lot to be something that you not. You got to keep on putting on this
yeah,
show to
yeah,
try to
yeah.
impress people.
That takes
Yeah,
a lot of energy.
it
I
does.
like I like people. I am a people person. I like talking to people. I like joking with people. Sometimes some people say I got what they call a black humor. Some people get me, some people don't. But I try not to offend anybody. But I just enjoy life.
Yeah,
And
we
I
all
enjoy
want to
that.
see what's in that trunk, Nikki. Miss Shirley got a whole personality in that trunk, baby. We don't know that side of the trunk person.
And you never will. It's that for y'all, okay? They call it a pass for a reason, all right?
We supposed to know. That's the purpose of the interview, getting to know the OG.
To a certain extent. I'm not gonna tell you everything because everything
I
ain't
know.
for you.
Question that I asked my grandma: do you live there segregation? Did they have the segregation in the school where you live when you was growing up?
In certain areas of the town, yes. Certain areas we couldn't, as Black Americans, could not go into certain neighborhoods. You couldn't go in them, period. If they saw you walking down the street, if they didn't think you was a maid or a housekeeper, you had no business in the neighborhood. I went into a store once and I had a woman, and I'm gonna call it like it is, a white woman lean over my shoulder and tell me, you ain't got no business in here. You need to leave.
Wow. Hey, Drops.
And I turned around and I looked at her and I said, I have just as much right to be in this store as you do because my money is the same color as yours. Come to find out, I paid with cash. She paid with food stamps. I was like, yep, I had the same look you had. I was like, really? Okay.
Wow.
And the poor little clerk who was ringing me up, she was scared half to death. Little young white girl, she was scared half to death. I looked at her, I said, sweetheart, I'm not going to trip. Just let me pay for my stuff and get out the store. Because if she run this cart up on the back of my heels, because she did it once, if she run this cart up on the back of my heels again, then y'all gonna need the popo.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been run out a couple of stores. My friend got arrested. He was a supervisor for the illuminating company, and we were on our way to work, and the police pulled him over because he had a BMW.
I hear people do that.
And they pulled him over because it was a Black man driving a nice car. We wasn't doing he wasn't doing this he wasn't going past the speed limit or nothing. They just pulled him over for nothing. Where I was at, I had to catch the bus to the job, and then I had to let the job know what he was because they arrested him and they kept him. And then they finally let him, and then he was able to bail himself out. But they didn't believe that he was, an executor.
That's sad.
Yeah. So
That's sad.
So yeah, I've gone through it, and we have gone through an area where they were ready to turn the hose on us and sick the dogs on us.
Catherine said it used to be legal for husbands to take advantage in any way of their wives in Mississippi.
Girl, that was like that all over the world, not just Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah, and in some places where they still don't feel that the law has any control over them, husbands still beating their wives and getting away with it.
That's
We
true.
hear about it on the news all the time where they done found somebody's body dead and beaten up somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. And that's still going on today. Some men still feel that way. I was the hell to the no kind of girl. My mom said, never let a man put his hands on you, not even once.
Well, I can tell y'all this now. This is something y'all don't know.
Wow, Drops.
I beat my husband with a rubber hose one night. He was drunk. I beat the crap out of him.
Nikki, that's that trunk opening. That trunk opening. Do tell, Miss Shirley. Do tell.
Yeah, I beat him with a rubber hose one night. He was drunk, and when he woke up, he couldn't move for 2 days. He was like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't know. You came home drunk last night."
Wow. Hey, Mike, what's up? I told you what my uncle did. My uncle called himself gonna hit his girlfriend or whatever he was, and she was in that kitchen cooking that fried chicken, threw that hot grease on him. Yeah. I bet he didn't hit her no more.
Well,
and that was down in Mississippi. We have situations where things was fair. What's up, Mike? What's up? PIA has said, I have a hell of a pet peeve about a man who abuses. Never again in my life. I was a victim for over 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you got out, PA.
Hmm.
Because some women can't get out. Some
Yeah.
women most definitely can't get out. Hey, Serena. Yes, ma'am. The evolution of a man is something to behold. New generations don't have a clue. And
They
that's
don't.
why I ain't eager to be in no relationship. I don't have time for that drama.
Yeah.
Nope. What do underground rollers do when they want something? They go
Oh,
for
oh,
it.
I like that one. Okay.
DNG, my dad was around, but my dad was there. My opinions, grandpas were great. My grandfather raised me because I never knew who my original father was, you know. So my grandmother and my grandfather stepped in because my mom was 14 when she had me.
Okay.
So back in Mississippi, they were letting people get married at what, 12, 11, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah, well, my grandparents got married, I think, like 10 or 11. They were married 66 years.
Wow.
66 years. So,
Women can hit you, but you never hit them. I'm old school, huh? Did you break your knuckles? No, I might feel like this. A woman ain't gonna be hitting you neither.
yeah.
She big and bad and bold to hit you. She big and bad to get hit back. I mean, come on now. It goes both ways. You don't want nobody hitting you. Why would you go off and hit somebody else?
Yeah, you're not supposed to put your hands on each other regardless.
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
just point blank.
So.
Which rodent is always acting suspiciously? Squirrel and squirrely. I'm trying to see if Nikki had asked another question. I'm trying to get down to the end of the drop. This kind of relationship that includes violence should not be in a good relationship, period. Right, Sylvia.
Yeah.
A woman ain't got no business putting her hand on no man unless she in the bedroom and they doing whatever they gonna do in the bedroom and then come up out of there. That's it. Keep y'all hands off these people. We are related to each other. Serena said 43 watching, 30 likes. Let me shout out to my Creekside members.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what they at? What they at? What they at? What they at?
Yeah. Creekside crew, yeah, we rise like kings. Creekside crew, where the loyalty rings. Creekside crew, every level we bless. From the roots to the roof, we don't settle for less. Creekside crew, y'all the day one flame. Lit that fire, gave Tampa its name. Backbone strong, y'all the base, the tone. Ain't no movement if you ain't in the zone. Creekside treasures, red with the glow. Y'all to shine when the river runs slow. Grace in your steps, gold in your soul. You the sparkle that makes the whole creek roll. Creekside warriors, strength in your stride. Never back down, y'all the fearless ride. Through the storm, you the power and fight. You the reason Tampa shines so bright. Creekside crew, yeah, we ride with pride. Creekside crew, got the fan worldwide. Creekside crew, every level we true. Stand tall, yeah, that's what we do. Creekside crew, yeah, we rise like kings. Creekside crew, let the anthem sing. Creekside crew, where the real ones be. Tampa Bay, this the legacy.
Shout out to the Creekside crew. I seen you over there jamming, Miss Shirley. I seen you over there. Yeah, whether you a Creekside crew, Creekside treasure, or Creekside warrior, we appreciate you being a part of our Creekside family. Even though the YouTube is the Creekside family, but hey, I got something new for y'all though too. Let me see.
Yeah, they do. Sylvia, they do.
Yeah, my stepmom abused me until she made a mistake that cost her and my dad custody of me. She was always covering up her mistakes and lying to my dad. But one morning before school, she hits me in the head. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Serena.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, who plastic baseball bat is that? What a plastic bat. I used to keep a metal bat beside my bed. I didn't play no game with no men. No, you ain't about to hit me. CBR one follow me Sunday halfway to church. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
well, see,
trying. Trunks. Nikki said trunk spilling over. That trunk done started opening. Oh, we got money in the chat.
yeah.
Oh, we got money in the chat.
Oh yeah, money in the chat.
Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Hey, chat going crazy, big time flex. Super stickers dropping, gotta show respect. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we do it the best. Blessing the stream, no time to rest. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Turn it up loud, let's run up the stats. Hit that button, make it rain real fast. Tampa Creek love, yeah, we built to last.
Shout out to Cousin Ellen for dropping that super chat. Where them dollars at? Nikki, can you drop Odom Homestead channel? I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Everybody, all the music that came on this channel, Odom Homestead is responsible for it. He is off the chain. A girl I went to school with threw hot grease on her husband because he had what you said. I bet you my uncle won't hit nobody else, but she threw. And what saved him was it had snow on the ground. He done ran out the house. It dived in the snow.
Yeah, that's what saved him.
Yeah, what's up, L to the GGG?
Yeah.
Hey, Ann, how you doing? Keep your hands to yourself.
But you know what, though? Some people heal from that and some people never do.
That's true.
And I was fortunate enough that I didn't let my abuse go on for a long period of time. And I was like, my mama told me a long time, she took the beatings to keep from him touching the kids. And I told him one day he went to raise his hand at me. Ooh.
Hey, city girl, how you doing?
It's getting ready to storm outside. And I told him, I'm not none of your child. I said, don't you ever touch me. I was like, you might hit mama, but you won't hit me.
Right.
Up, you know.
Dreaming of dancing goat making it rain.
I'm worried about you. But
okay, drops. He done got that money in the check.
Yeah. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Hey, chat going crazy, big time flex. Super stickers dropping, gotta show respect. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we do it the best. Blessing the stream, no time to rest. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Turn it up loud, let's run up the stats. Hit that button, make it rain real fast. Tampa Creek love, yeah, we built to last.
Shout out to Drops for dropping that super sticker. Appreciate you. Love each other and treat your spouse and loved ones right.
mm-hmm.
Love that hate, love not hate. So
Yeah.
Odom dropped me something for how many people have a birthday in the month of May. If you got a birthday in the month of May, put a heart in the chat. I can't put the heart in the chat because I'm on my laptop, but my birthday is Saturday. And I will be 49. So any birthdays in May. If your birthday is in the month of May, put a heart in the chat. Put a heart. Look at I want to hear it again. Love you, fam. Love you, fam.
Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Super chat love, yeah, we feeling that. Throw it up, show it up, run it right back. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we on track. Hey, chat going crazy, big time flex. Super stickers dropping, gotta show respect. Tampa Creek fam, yeah, we do it the best. Blessing the stream, no time to rest. Where them dollars at? Where them dollars at? Turn it up loud, let's run up the stats. Hit that button, make it rain real fast. Tampa Creek love, yeah, we built to last.
Shout out to cousin out. See, y'all don't insult me. I ain't 50 yet. I ain't 50 yet. I ain't 50 yet. So there's nobody birthday. Okay, PIA. So I got something for all the birthdays. We gotta play the birthday song, which is the new birthday song Odom just created me.
You know what? While you doing that, I want to run and get a picture. I want to show y'all. Then
okay.
I'm not doing nothing else.
It's your day, king. It's your day, queen. Light that candle, let your soul gleam. Hands up high, make the world know your name. We celebrating you, no shame in the flame.
Yeah, you made it. Another lap round the sun. Storms came hard, but you never did run. Held your ground with that fire in your chest. Now we toast to your life, cause you not like the rest. You the backbone, the truth, the fight. You shine like a porch light in the middle of night. From the creek to the stars, we lift you today. Put your crown on right, let the music play. Happy birthday! Stand tall, don't fold. You a story still writing in letters of gold. From the dirt to the sky, you rise each way. So we sing it loud. Happy birthday. Celebrate, elevate, live it your way. Tampa Creek love every step of the way. You're the spark, the wave, the heat, the flame. Own it now, go on, rep your name.
One shot, one cake, one flame lit. One king, one queen, too real to quit. Another year wiser, stronger, bold. You're a legend, baby, pure solid gold.
It's your day, king. It's your day, queen. Let it shine bright, live that dream. From Tampa Creek with that soul and sway. Happy birthday, go on and slay.
Happy birthday to all the May babies. Shout out. Look,
Wait a minute. You ready for this picture?
Yeah, man, Odom needs to start selling this. Wow, he got to. Oh, trust and believe. I ain't getting none of this for free. Yeah,
Tampa,
you ready?
I need you to blow me up. I want to show this picture.
I can't blow you up. I go to jail.
Oh.
Oh, look at this. Look on this shirt. And you with the dress on.
Yep.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. That trunk coming out. That trunk coming out. What else you got over there?
I ain't showing you. That's it.
So, how do you handle criticism or negative feedback?
I can truly say I laugh at it now.
Back in the day, did you laugh at it?
No, not really. I was very sarcastic. I've changed a lot.
Okay.
And I would go tit for tat with you. You were, I grew up during a time where children was seen and not heard. So it took me a long time before I had a voice of my own. And once I found out I could talk without someone retaliating about me saying something, it was off and running. It was off and popping, as the kids say. So, and I haven't stopped since then.
Okay.
So, Now I listen to you, and I feel like this: sticks and stones break my bones, but words never hurt me. So when you start acting real stupid, I laugh at you, because I feel like at this point in time, what you want me to say, what you want me to do.
I know. I do
You know.
understand. I'm working on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on that because sometimes things do bother me. And sometimes my face will tell you how I feel before I open my mouth. So I'm working on that. Like I don't want my face to get a I don't want you to get a reaction from me. So if my
Right.
face does something, then you're getting a reaction from me. And I
Yeah.
have to work on that because like you just told me earlier, your face saying what so I get it. I get what you're saying. With
And then sometimes, you know what, when you get a little older, you do hope that you have matured to a certain degree. When people say certain stuff, you should be able to figure out whether or not it's even worth saying anything. Sometimes you just keep your mouth shut. You might not say anything at all. So, yeah, at certain
Yes,
points
sir.
in
I'm
time,
listening. Mackenzie was talking to me.
I
I'm
understand.
listening.
I understand. So, at certain points in time, I just might sit there and look at you. I just like,
Mhm. You don't celebrate birthdays, Miss Shirley?
I don't celebrate any holidays.
Okay. Yeah.
I,
Well,
well, let me tell you now, I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jehovah has changed my life. He has calmed my happy butt down. I
okay.
have learned to become civil. I have learned to become a good Christian. I laugh and joke with y'all, but when it comes to my religion as being a witness, I take that very seriously. And if you notice, when y'all celebrate and say happy birthday to one another, you never hear me say that.
Okay.
When y'all say Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, you never heard me say that. Mother's Day, any holiday, none. The only thing I celebrate is the Lord's evening meal. And he tells us that in Isaiah to commemorate every year. That's it. And wedding anniversaries. That's it. We don't celebrate anything else. I laugh and I joke and I can act a fool, but I keep it to a certain degree. You don't hear me cussing. You don't hear me just being downright belligerent. When I feel that you're trying to back me up against a wall, I will shut down. I won't say anything because I know what comes up comes out. And once it's
Right.
there, you can't take it back. So I have changed my lifestyle. I have changed the way I think. I don't mess with politics and I don't mess with holidays. So I enjoy the gardening group because we do talk about gardening and a whole lot of stuff. I will kid and joke with you, but I will only take it to a certain degree and then I stop. When I feel like y'all getting a little bit raunchy, so to speak, I will back up out of the live. I will drop out or I won't say anything else in it because it's just certain lines I will not cross. But I do
Right.
love everybody. And a lot of the stuff I told you was my old life. My new life has changed for the last, I would say, at least last 45, 50 years. I have
Right.
changed, and it's for the better for me because it made me a better person. It made me a better grandmother, great grandmother, neighbor, friend, and I enjoy being a witness. I do because it's the truth. Everything that people see going on in the world today is in the Bible, whether they believe it or not, whether they read it or not, or whether they understand it or not. It's in there. The Bible is a book of instructions on how we should live our life. And anything that you need to discover or feel that you need to correct or change, the Bible can do it. And if you don't believe that, I there's nothing else I can say. That's on you because everybody has their right. It's not for me to say right or wrong. Only Jehovah and Jesus Christ can read your heart and know if you're a good person or not. I can only see so far into your life. Other than that, I don't see anything else. So, as when they say people show you who they truly are, believe them. I do.
Yeah, I do celebrate my birthdays, but I backed away from holidays when my grandfather passed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I stopped believing in a lot of things. And religion is one of the things I don't discuss with people. Hey, Dolores, how you doing? Hey, 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 welcome in. Appreciate you. I don't know what that is. Gnostics. I ain't never heard of that one. Most holidays are pagan holidays. All holidays are pagan.
Oh, all of them, not most. All of them are pagan.
All of them are pagan.
All of them. They're based on deities of some kind. Yeah.
Jehovah Witnesses is becoming so excited. The men can have beards now.
Yeah, they can have beards now, and the sisters can wear pants to the home now. But you got to be as anything else. You got to show discretion. You got to show modesty. You just can't wear anything. Not wearing skin tight. You ain't wearing booty shorts and all that stuff. You got to show some kind of modesty.
Yeah, I just get to the point that I did lose a lot of friends when it came to my beliefs, which because they don't believe in what I believe in. But my thing is, I've never tried to change you on what you believe.
Right. I don't try to force.
They always try to put their beliefs on me.
Right.
And if I tell you I don't believe in something, then you should just accept what I don't believe in.
Right. Yeah, we're not trying to force it down your throat. Everybody has a choice.
Yeah. So who's to say my choice might not be wrong and yours might be?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Don't tell me what I believe in is wrong. No, because I'm not gonna tell you that. At the end of the day, I'm gonna love you for who you are because I like your personality. I like the wisdom that you kicking out. I like the fact that you got a trunk and you got some stuff that's up in there and you just reveal just a little bit of stuff.
and it stays in that trunk. You will never see anything else out of that trunk. I have reached my limit on how far that trunk got cracked. Okay.
Exactly.
Like man said, I'm not gonna say I was always a saint. I wasn't always a witness. I didn't grow up as a witness. I didn't become a witness until later in life. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't have a halo above my head. I'm still an imperfect human. I still make mistakes, but I try to limit how deep my mistakes are so that I can repent and get myself back on track again. So yeah. Good night, Shawnee.
Hey, Shawnee, thanks for coming in. Baby, she said 5 comes quick. I know, because it'll be coming quick for me, and my Renaissance grandma will be calling my phone.
I'm retired. Woohoo!
Ain't you lucky? Ain't you lucky? And look, I don't even know if
I had to work all my life to get to retirement age. Okay, so hey, it ain't easy.
I ain't even put a dent. And then every year they changing the retirement age. What age is it now?
Oh, on my job now, on my ex job, they up to 70.
That's what I'm saying. See, they constantly changing it. First it was what, 55, 65, 62, something like that.
Yeah.
Now it's up to 70. So I'm like, man, y'all going on. By the time we retire, we're gonna be still at somebody Walmart. Tell my son, welcome to Walmart. And ain't gonna have no retirement.
I finna say, I hope they keep Social Security, because if they ever stop it, it's 3/4 of America will be out.
Yeah,
will be out.
What's in the trunk will stay in the trunk. Do anybody else got any more questions for Miss Shirley? I love being able to say I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. I ain't trying to buy a hectare. Even though I ain't got no money, I don't have any stress of trying to figure out what to get somebody for a holiday. My biggest concern right now is trying to get my stuff out of storage and get me in a place. That's what I'm stressed about right now. But for all this holidays, nope.
You see, I buy my grandbabies and everybody's stuff all year round. So you don't have to wait for one particular day. Like they say, all these holidays is one day. Why do you have to wait one day to show your folks that you love them, or your kids that they get that little extra? if I see it and I like it, I'm gonna buy it for them right then and there. I'm not gonna wait
Right.
till the end of the year to go in the hole trying to buy everybody everything. No,
And then they don't appreciate it.
no. So,
You have spent your hard-earned money for somebody to break the thing in a day or two.
oh well, see, my family know if I buy you something and you don't like it, I take it back and say, "Cool, all right, you ain't got to worry about me buying you nothing else." And if you can't appreciate the time and the thought and the energy I put in a gift for you, and you gonna act a fool, like man said, I
Right.
can show you better than I can tell you. I'll take that back, and I'll go get my money back and go buy something I like for myself. Don't play me like
Right.
that. I ain't the one.
Dave said he getting ready to retire this year. Also, ain't y'all lucky?
Hey, Dave.
It will be 100 years before you know it. Big beautiful. What that say? You sure?
Yashima.
See, Drops coming up with these letters and calling it a word. Nick said, I'm retired too.
I
Jamaica.
remember when Nikki said she was retiring too. That's when she started painting the living room and changing and redecorating and stuff. Nikki
wish
went
I
all
could
out with it. Nikki knows she let you see how she was shutting down shop.
PIA said she loved retirement.
Yeah.
I can collect SSI now, but I never will.
Okay.
How do you feel about the seedless fruit, Miss Shirley?
It's scary. It's scary because I went to the supermarket today and they actually had an aisle with seedless watermelons, seedless cucumbers, seedless other kinds of fruits and stuff. I said, for people who aren't aware of what we're going through now, and for people who do not garden, those things don't bother them. Those things don't even faze them. They figure as long as the stores is open, I'm going to eat, I have food. They are not looking past what's going on right now with all these tariffs and embarkments of the ships and our food coming from other countries. Everything that we eat is not grown here in the United States.
No.
Therefore, they figure that we're always going to have food. And they figure if they don't have it, somebody else will, that will get them through these hard times. So only people who are aware of food, the prices, the availability, notices about this seedless stuff and that we're keeping up with it. And this is why it's so that we have to keep the seed exchange going between us. Just like somebody wanted some seeds for something today. In another live, they said, send me an email. Oh, they wanted some sunflower seeds. Those are edible. And you can get sunflower oil from them. You can get a whole lot of stuff from sunflower seeds. So they were asking for something that they can grow. And they were conscious of something new that they could grow. Whereas when these folks in the supermarket, they don't think about nothing like that. As long as they got that plastic they can throw up on the counter or write a check and get what they want, they keep it moving. They don't panic until something dramatic happens and then they want to try to buy up everything that they can find. I don't know if you can hear all that thundering and lightning in the background, but it's getting ready to do Noah and the art thing out there. But we've
been experiencing rain for the past couple of days here.
Yeah, see, I like watching Jamaica because I'm really want to get into the tissue culture thing, whereas I can buy a lot more for a little money than trying to buy
tissue culture thing.
Well, it's actually is tissues or cells that they get from a plant, and they can make it into a smaller form. It's almost on the same line as taking a cutting and putting it in water and starting another plant.
Oh, and Jamaica got that. I'm quite sure she got that on her page.
Oh, she got that down pat. She be doing it all the time. And I even read up on it, did my own little research on it. I was like, oh, snap. I doing one of yours, Tampa. I said, "Oh, snap a doodle." She
Oh,
got me.
snap a doodle, baby.
She
And
got me.
look, I said, oh, I was
Oh,
on the phone to my Renaissance today, and I said, oh, snap. She said, what happened to the doodle? I was like, oh, okay. Oh, snap a doodle. This is great. The funny
yeah.
thing is, Jehovah Witnesses are making bug out bags too.
But we was making bug out bags before everybody else was making bug out bags. Believe me, bug out bags, that's nothing new. They've been out for a long time. And they tell us to upgrade and check our stuff just like anybody else do, you know. So yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this up because my grandmama used to say, "You don't supposed to move. You ain't supposed to have no TV on. You ain't supposed to be on the phone. You ain't supposed to be
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
when it's
Turn,
raining."
turn all the lights out, sit in the dark, whole nine.
Yeah,
Where's your flashlight? Yeah.
so we're gonna let Mama Shirley go, and if y'all don't have anything else to ask her, we're gonna go on and let her shut hers down. But I got something I want to show y'all before I get off, unless Miss Shirley wants to see it.
I want to see it. Why wouldn't you pick up on the really? You got me up here and I can't see it. Come on.
I know. So y'all know Bayou Sugar came to visit us, right? Bayou Sugar, huh?
No.
Bayou Sugar was here in Indiana. We
No, I didn't know that. I know she said she was leaving Arizona going back down to Louisiana.
Yeah, she came here because her son had a basketball game, and then we all did a meetup yesterday.
Right.
Me, her, Miss T, and Don't Hurt the Harvest. Well, after we had dinner, Miss T had to go rehearse some errands, so I was tasked to take Don't Hurt the Harvest to her car. So I was like, well, by you, I could take you to Good Earth. To the Good Earth where I be getting my herbs from. So, but Miss Alice decided to ride with us before I dropped her off because they had closed at 6 and it was right at 5 o'clock. We get there and I'm like, I'm about to go upstairs. Bayou said, it's an upstairs. I was like, yes, it's an upstairs. She talking about what is upstairs. So we went upstairs and they found what they was gonna find. Fine, and I ended up getting a couple of other because I got told you they take EBT.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
That's you got the hyssop. Okay, all right.
That's hyssop. Now this is the list. My Renaissance told me. This right here is bayberry.
Yeah, barberry.
Bayberry.
Oh, is that bay? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's BAY. It's it's barberry, but they were out of it. But this one is bayberry.
Got you. Okay.
Yep, got the bayberry, and then fenugreek.
Yeah, fenugreek seeds. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going because they sell it by the ounce. You could buy by the ounce.
Yeah.
But by the time she got ready to do what I wanted her to do, she said, you might as well go and get the pound. It's a little less than what you was finna get ready to pay. So I ended up getting the fenugreek. And then we found this little thing. Can you see it?
What's that?
I can't see the whole top. You had it so close I can only see the bottom.
Not bad.
Oh, for tea?
Yeah, it's got a leaf on it.
All right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right. I couldn't see. All right. Got you. All right.
Yep. So that's what I got. And Miss Alice got her a couple of items. And Bayou got her a couple of items. And I love the store. I love it.
Now, I have a natural food store where I've been going in there and getting, what did I get? Some chia seeds and some other stuff on there. I got a lot of stuff in the kitchen right now, and I'm finna put them in some mason jars and stuff and label them. So I've been hitting them too. And today, when we hit our favorite store, Marks, I should have took a video. They got all the stuff out. They got flowers. They had all kinds of herbs and vegetables out there. And I ended up like, shoot, I was like, I wasn't planning on doing this until the end of next week, but I couldn't just leave out of there. And I got like dill and sage. They didn't have any rosemary. I got a green pepper seed and some other stuff. I said, I can't just walk out of here and not have So it's still coming out.
Good day, good night, Dave. Cuz said
Thank
now
you, cousin.
now for real, this is
This is
great.
great.
And Drop
Thank
said,
you.
never let anyone abuse you. Let us know if that is going on.
Yeah.
Nikki talked about some Tampa called me to rub it in. I did call her. I called her to let her hear Bayou Sugar voice, and Bayou said, "That's Nikki. She don't sound like Nikki." I said, "That's her phone voice. It's different. Bayberry smells good. It does.
Yeah, it does. All them herbs be smelling good though. They have my kitchen
Yes,
routine. I could walk through certain parts of the house and say, okay, that's bay leaves. I need to put them up.
yeah.
You can smell stuff because I gotta when my grandkids and other folks come on, they said, girl, you got every herb there is up in here, don't you? And I was like, or seasoning. I was like, I try. I truly got tall stands and they like 5 or 6 bottles in a row. I just try to stock up on stuff. And now I'm stocking up on my what is that? Like my vanilla extract
Are
and
you making your own?
I'm getting ready to. I've ordered some vanilla beans. Yeah, so I want to make lemon and I want to make all the different flavors and stuff. So, yeah, I'm getting more into actually, how they say, crap or get off the pot. Uh, I've been procrastinating. There's a lot of things I should have had done by now, and I haven't. So I'm trying to get my act together because since I retired, I am active to a certain degree, but I didn't also got lazy to a certain degree. So
That's me. That's me. That's lazy, and I ain't even retired. Just lazy. I
I and I,
got a
and I ain't gonna
question.
lie. It's just some days I just don't feel like moving. And right now my knee is big as a football.
Did you take
It's
some medicine or anything for it?
yeah, I took some meds, but I'm finna get some ice packs right now and
That's
pack
because
it.
you've been standing up, moving
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
trying to. No,
yeah,
procrastination is a real thing. Yes, Nikki, because that's what's wrong with me.
yeah.
Miss Shirley,
Yes, dear.
do you see my camera on your side?
No.
I'm saying, do you see me on your side?
Yeah,
I'm not clear.
yeah.
It don't look clear like yours.
Well,
Yours is super clear. Mine
yeah,
look like
yeah.
it's
You have a slight glare. You do
yeah,
have
and
a
that's
slight
what I'm
glare.
trying to figure out. What am I doing wrong that my video don't come out clear like y'all? Nikki's be clear, everybody be clear except for me.
So, what kind of lighting do you have? That's where the glare is coming from. Is from the lighting.
This old crazy light is still.
All
McKenna
right.
to cut it off.
It actually changed soon as you move that light. You got darker. That glare's not on it. It's not as bad now with that glare in it.
Well, yeah, Mike's. Yes, there is a haze. I've always had a haze. Happy Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
Tampa is frosty. I know. And I be like, maybe
You
I need to
trust
buy another camera to put up there because that happened to me and my lens was very dirty. And I try to keep the lens clean, but it's still like it's not a crystal clear.
Okay.
Gotta get that knee in shape for cruising, honey.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I just needed to get up and down my stairs. I'm like on the second floor of a 2-family, and it's like 18 stairs from my back door to the bottom step. So believe me, like today when our girlfriend was helping me bring my bags up, she stood behind me as I took them steps one at a time till I got to the top. She said, "You're not gonna fall." Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do something. But Mama Shirley, I appreciate you. Niggas
Thank
that
you
clean
for
your
having me.
lens. Yeah, I appreciate. I mean, I was like, I need to get back to interviewing people because I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives us the opportunity to hear, especially when it's my older generation. I get a chance to hear how they grew up back in the days, what obstacles that they had to jump over as
Yeah.
opposed to now.
Yeah.
You just threw me off with that pad and that belt. I'm
Yeah, that's how you wore 'em back in the day. That's the only
I'm
way you
like,
could wear 'em back in the day. There wasn't no tampons and all that other stuff. No, you almost wore a diaper. Yeah. And you had to be very
wow.
careful.
Well, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me and Miss Shirley. As always, it's a blessing when I have a guest on here and I get a chance to interview them. But it's been a while since I was like, Miss Shirley, when is you coming up here? So
I forgot I have actually become a little popular, so I had to look at my schedule and see what nights I could do this, and that, and the third. I was like, because I know I'm on Bama on Sunday night. Now he want me to come on tomorrow, and I got my show on Thursday. And matter of fact, I got to drop mine for Thursday. So, yeah, so it's I had to look at my schedule. I was like, what? I was like, okay, so I don't mind though.
yeah, Happy Mac said, I don't know how to help, but I want to. What you talking about, Happy Mac? But it's because I reached out to a couple of people on emails um just to see if I could interview them. And that's something I never did. I never reached out to anybody to try to collab with them. And
Yeah.
I'm like trying to branch out, but trying to get out of this comfort zone
Yeah.
because public speaking is not my forte. Never have been. I'm not big on fancy words and stuff. So I don't even want to embarrass myself like I fell in the ocean, embarrass myself. So it was fun. It was a blessing to learn some of the things that you shared with us tonight. And guys, I appreciate everything. Nikki, thank you for asking those awesome questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah.
Nikki,
I enjoyed. I really enjoyed it. Each live has their own setup and their own questions. And Nikki, as usual, she needs to be an MC.
Yeah, she does help me out a lot when I'm doing interviews. And Nikki, if she gets in here, she does. She always helps me out with some of the questions. Because sometimes I don't remember what to really ask. I'm going by what's on my phone. And some of those are kind of personal. And I don't want to be prying into people's lives. I'd rather for you to tell me what you want to tell me. So you said you was retired, right?
Yeah.
What was your last job you retired from?
Working at the hospital. I was a coordinator for nights on the floor.
Okay.
I had 34 beds on my floor. I had 12 nurses and 5 nurses aides. Sometimes we had a charge nurse, sometimes we didn't. That's when I take over. And I did all the work. I assigned patients to doctors and nurses and aides and what have you. I did codes. Got meds, the whole 9 yards. I pulled people from other departments to cover shifts and what have you. I did quite a bit. They was mad when I decided to retire because they was like, and do you know to this day I've been retired more than 6 years and they still haven't filled my position because no one says, they said it's too much work. And all you had to do was be organized. That's all you had to be, organized. Right. And the killer part about it, I was the oldest person on the floor, day shift and night shift, and I could run circles around everybody out there.
Yeah, because you knew what you was going to work to do your job. You know what I'm saying? Some like I can't get my kids for the life to me. You don't be going to your job making no friends.
Yeah.
This is your place of business where you earn your livelihood and go home. It's okay to have associates to talk to while you at work. But everybody don't need to know outside of your job what's going on with your household. So I think you didn't mix business with pleasure.
Oh no. When I went on vacation, they had a fit. And when I came back from vacation, I literally had nurses running down the hallway, running up to me, wrapping their arms around me and kissing me, saying, "Oh, Miss Shirley is back. We're so glad you're back." I was like, "Well, what happened? I was only going on vacation. Y'all act like I wasn't coming back." She said they wouldn't send anybody down here. Everybody came down here. Didn't nobody want to do nothing. They wasn't getting along with folks. They felt like all they were supposed to do is answer phones, and they didn't do jack. They was like, "Miss Shirley said, don't leave us." And when I told them I was going to retire, oh my God, they gave me a surprise retirement party. And it had me in tears. I was surprised. I'm talking about not just nurses and stuff on my floor, all through the hospital, the doctors that I've worked with over the years, they all showed up and surprised me. It looked like a birthday party because they had money pent all over.
Oh, well, they sent you out with a good retirement.
Oh, yeah. I had food, cake. They had a big banner on the going across the break room wall. They had gifts and stuff. Oh, yeah. They did it up right. You know, this was just the people that I worked with over the years, you know, so they respected me that much. They said, don't you want to work PRN? I was like, if I wanted to stay PRN, I would have never retired. I was like, the politics on the job got to be too much. I got the age. I had the time. I was like, I'm out. Bye, Felicia. I'm out of here. And I left. And it was before it was before the pandemic happened. They said, you left just in the nick of time. They said, it's bananas up here. And then they was telling me they had to wear suited up all day long. They went in the patient's room and suited up and came back out and took it off. If the patient wanted something else, they had to re-suit up again and go back. I was like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I left just in the nick of time. So I left before the pandemic. So I left in 2018. So
okay. Well, guys, if you have not hit the thumbs up, please do so. If you have not joined Tampa's Creek family, please hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get the 1K, and we appreciate all the love and the support, especially those of you all who gave super stickers tonight. We appreciate all the love. And Miss Shirley, as usual, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. The same. It was a pleasure being here.
Send this video out right quick before we roll out.
Creekside Queen, Tampa, queen of the creek, built on faith, yeah, the roots run deep, turning dust to gold, every crop I keep, hard work don't stop, I don't ever sleep. Up before the rooster, hands in the dirt. Every seed I plant, gotta know my worth. Ain't no silver spoon, had to build my own. Now the homestead strong like the crops I've grown. Brick by brick, stitch by stitch, turning small town life into something rich. Crafting my dreams, got the hammer and thread. While the world's still talking, I stay 2 steps ahead. From the garden to the stream, from the land to the sky. Blood, sweat, and faith, that's how I ride.
Hey, Queen, shout out to Oldham Homestead again. And shout out to Miss Shirley for coming up to being a fabulous guest. If nobody else has anything else to say, hey, Queen, I was wondering why y'all was still here this late. Yeah, Miss Shirley dropping all this gem, honey. She's dropping all this wisdom and knowledge. Drop said, I'm tired of the problems. Well, Miss Shirley, go and get you some ice for your legs. And guys, I will see y'all tomorrow on Tuesday Shenanigans. Hopefully the shenanigans stay in that box, but we already know sometimes the shenanigans go left field.
They call it a slow leak. Yeah.
Look, my Tuesday shenanigans need to have a trunk. Some of that stuff need to go back in that box.
And lock it up.
Okay. Cousin says she got a question. What's up, cousin? What's the question? Because me and my mama Shirley got to go put some ice on that leg.
Yeah, I do.
Queen said, I will be watching the replay. Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate you. Good, great jobs, lady. If anybody wants to be interviewed by me on my night show, please reach out to me on my email that's going across the stream. I would love to have you as a guest. Cousin, what a question that, cousin. The master web developer, IT, and security guy still needed. I'm waiting on cousin to give her question. I will be watching the replay. Drop said, I want to go away, but he got no one. Okay, where is the convention?
Oh, they're talking about the international convention. They're
Yeah.
all over. I got folks going to Albania, some to Paris. They're all over. So all you got to do is go on the jw.org website. It'll let you know. Anybody who want to know anything about Jehovah Witnesses, our meetings, or any other thing, go to jw.org and you can find any information you need.
I have got to get my passport. I'm like, Miss Shirley got a passport. Tampa need to get a passport.
Yeah.
Well, y'all have a blessed evening, and I will see y'all on Tuesday shenanigans. Bye.
Good night.